And we are live. Guys, I'm very excited about this one. My name is Jay Angel. Welcome to the Let's Talk Fishing Video Podcast Wednesday edition. Tonight, I have a guy who's from a place I wish I got to spend more time at. A great town right there on Toledo Bend. I have none other than Elijah Talley from the Thin Line Fishing League. How are you doing tonight, Elijah?
I'm doing wonderful.
Man, I am so excited about this. Why don't you tell the folks what the Thin Line Fishing League is?
So what we did was, I used to direct for another tournament league, and the one thing that I found was that the public couldn't fish it, and to me that got me thinking: why are veterans and first responders just supporting each other when the public is the ones that we serve? They want to show their gratitude as well. So I started on Thin Line Fishing League with the concept that the thin line flag, the thin blue line, the thin green line, thin red line, and everything like that. Uh, and that's basically how our logo was built, was off of that, because you know there are heroes. There are nation's heroes, and they have a lot of things that they need from their even their families. We're going to support them if they lose their loved one in the line of duty. So it's pretty much founded on veterans and first responders. But I opened this league to the public,
Yes.
um, giving them a chance to show their support for our nation's heroes, not only our nation's heroes, but our local hometown heroes here in Louisiana. Um,
Yes.
you know, our emergency services, from hurricanes to everything else that happens, they just have that servant's heart, and that's what we want to highlight in this league. Um, and not only just on like mostly bass fishing, but we opened up different leagues as well, like a redfish division. Planning on holding some crappie tournaments on Toledo Bend. Um, we're going to give the anglers
Oh,
a place
wow.
to fish that
The
everybody
Giants.
can be a part of it. um, and we're
That
going to
is
open that
awesome.
to the
So,
public.
what is your schedule?
We kick off
What
on
does
the
your
bass
schedule look like for the best?
for the Bass League. We're going to kick it off January 18th, Toledo Bend, Lost Frontier Park. Um, and then, it'll pretty much be a one a month tournament series. Um, February 15th, we go to Chico. March 22nd, we go to Henderson, a little bit
Chico, yeah.
closer to you. Um,
Yes.
Chico at
Yeah.
that time
Like
should be
45
very
minutes away
hot.
from me.
That should be a very
Yes.
hot time to fish it, if you know how to fish Chico. March 22nd, we'll go down to Henderson off to I-10. Black Bayou Halston coming up April 19th. That is a big bass factory. It's going to take 20 plus pounds just to, cash a check. Uh, then we got Caney Creek, another big bass factory. Then we're coming
Ooh.
back here in June to Toledo Bend, and we'll go to Bistineau as long as they have water in it, because from what I understand right now, it's drawing down pretty bad. Um, then we'll do Indian Creek right there south of Alexandria, Louisiana. Lake Fossey Point again down there closer to
Yeah.
the south end. That'll be in September. We'll go to Cato, Big Bass Factory, in October, and then Cypress
Oh,
Bayou.
yeah.
And
Cypress Bayou. Where?
that's over. That's like by kind of around the Minden area. I'm thinking. There's a
Okay.
couple of them. Uh, but yeah, it should be a good. From what I hear, they have some pretty big fish in there too. And then, for the championship, the state championship, November 29th and 30th, we'll be right back here on Toledo Bend, fall fishing at its finest. Um, you
That
have
sounds
to,
so much fun.
You do have to fish at least 6 of our regular series tournaments to qualify, and then our Angler of the Year points will also be done. They'll be done by points, but to qualify for the championship, you have to fish 6. There's your qualification. There's your chance to have bragging rights to be the top angler in Louisiana. Um,
Nice,
so we got some
nice.
fun things. We got some fun things planned. We have we're able to offer all of our anglers food, courtesy of Troy's Butcher Shop in Manny. They bless our veterans and first responders with food at our events, and we'll take small donations there so we can help continue to do it, because it costs things like charcoal, lighter
Oh
fluid,
yeah,
condiments, and things that we can give.
gasoline just to
So
get there. Yeah, yeah. It gets
yeah, so
expensive. Well, we have a couple of comments from the first one's from Cajun Rob, who is also another podcaster who does the Co-Angler Corner. Look that up, Cajun Rob podcasting, Cajun Rob fishing. He said, "Hello, anglers from He's from Bluegrass, Kentucky." There's
wow.
also DT Silvers, and DT said, "What's good, brother? You must know him."
Yeah, he's one of our anglers. He's been fishing around me for a long time as I directed throughout the last few years, and it's always fun to get him in a boat and get him excited. He gets riled up real good. So yeah,
Yeah.
he's a big asset to what we do here.
Well, that's good. Well, thank you for commenting, DT. I appreciate you. And of course, Cajun Rob, I always appreciate you. Cajun Rob's helped me get this podcast started. I helped him get his podcast started. And we've helped each other a lot over the years.
See, and that's the thing. We want to take it to a national level where each state has a division, and each state that comes on, we'll start holding national championships, visiting some other lakes that are bucket list lakes to fish. That way we can spread our mission, because here's what's important. We go through life every day without, busy in our own lives, job, work, home, kid, school, you know, but what goes really unnoticed is that 22 veterans a day commit suicide to combat stresses. Then you have to
Absolutely.
look at the police departments. Then you have to look at the firemen, and it goes all the way down to dispatch. Your dispatchers who take that 911 call, they're going through the worst moment of that person's life with them, and that affects them mentally. The mental health is a huge factor in why we do what we do. One
Absolutely,
suicide is
man.
one suicide is too many. We have
Too
to
many.
change the narrative, and we have to bridge the gap. We partnered with a group called Leaving the Sideline. They're a national nonprofit that they have resources for veterans and first responders and their family. It doesn't matter whether it's a utility bill that's not being paid, fixing to be shut off, can't put food in the house, addiction counseling,
Yes.
just even to transitioning veterans coming out of the military, looking for their way in life. That's very hard. These guys step up, and they provide those resources to our nation's heroes. And that's one thing that we wanted to partner with them for, because that's our exact mission.
You know,
And go ahead.
I love what you guys are doing. I want to tell everybody I'm a veteran myself. And that 22 a day is just unacceptable, unacceptable, unacceptable. I don't want to get political here, but I couldn't agree with you more. I just could not agree with you more. It brings a tear to my eye when I hear about that every single time. Because
Well, one suicide is too many.
yes,
They sent us over there. I did my time overseas. They sent us over there, and then where's the care when you get home?
it's not
Where's
there.
that? You got to wait 6 months to get an appointment. I mean, we have to stand up, and we need all the help we can get. And
Then
that's,
the health care that you get is substandard. It's even worse than the yeah. Let's talk about fishing.
But that's the mission we're on, is to bridge the
Absolutely.
gap, get the public and those heroes together, get them, eating food together, breaking bread, bring the families out. Let's listen to some music, have a good time,
Yeah.
weigh some fish, win some money, um, and just have a blast and keep it as a tradition where it's family orientated.
DT just commented. Here. I'm gonna show this. This is a good one.
For some, they can't find mental outlet from what they experience. Exactly.
Yeah.
Fishing in the
Exactly.
outdoors bridges that gap.
You know,
There's a serenity out there.
what I like about organizations like yours. A lot of them, they aren't going to help people like me because I'm not disabled. Yes, the disabled veterans need more help than I do, but there are also those of us who have hidden injuries that never go away. And I like it that we get these guys together, take them fishing, show them a good time. I can't say enough about that. Thank you for what you do, man. I appreciate you.
It's my honor. Um, the thing about getting everybody together is that brotherhood, that getting to that common goal of, I'm around people who've been through the same things as I have. I went to Iraq. I went to Afghanistan. I fought on the front lines. I know what you went through, brother. That's what
Yeah,
we get. And we have not only our veterans, but we have our first responders, we have our police officers, we have our firemen. So everybody can lean on each other. And then we become a strong network of people who have each other's backs again. And that's what we want to form, is those bonds.
absolutely, man. Absolutely. And you go to some of the cooler destinations for bass fishing in one of the cooler states for fishing. I had no idea when I moved to Louisiana what a great fishing spots, what or great fishing state this is. Everything's here, from huge, enormous crappies to some of the biggest bass that there is, to some of the and as you know, and everybody else who knows me knows, I have fallen in love with the coastal and the inshore resources we have here, from just absolutely freaking enormous redfish to oh speckled trout. Oh, I could go on and on and on, but this isn't my podcast; it's yours. So
The land is our grocery store.
yes,
High food prices, go fishing, go hunting. You know,
absolutely, absolutely.
it's better for you anyway.
You know what? So, guys, if you want to find out more about thin line fishing, I have. That's why I put the website address up here: thinlinefishingleague.com. Check it out, guys. Thinlinefishingleague.com. Do not forget that. This is important. We really want to spread the word about this. We want everybody to know about this. And if you like to fish, man, come on out here. This is
Absolutely.
not the Bassmaster Elite Series. And I don't have anything against the Bassmaster Elite Series, but we'll help you out. I'm going to be at a couple of these events. I know where to fish on the Henderson. You know, in any other place in this state, I can find out where they're catching fish. And if you come up to us and say, "Hey, man, where do I catch? I've never been here before." There's not $100,000 on the line. We're going to help you out. We're going to
Oh yeah.
show you what to use. So don't be intimidated by the competition. Come here and just have a good time, man. Gary Bourne. Yeah, I think this is, man, my glasses are so dirty. I'm sorry, guys. He says, Gary Bourne Jr., he says, tell me more about the redfish division.
Yeah. So Gary's my business partner, so he's chiming in there because he's all about them redfish. He lived down south. Um, our redfish division, it's going to start off also in January 4th. We're going to be in Golden Meadow for stop 1. Stop 2 is April 5th, Berwick. Stop 3, Sippermore Point, May 3rd. Stop 4, Lake Charles, July 12th. And then we will have championship weekend, Sippermore Point, August 2nd and 3rd. 2025. And there's more information on the Redfish series on our Facebook page, Thin Line Fishing League LLC, about the redfish. It's not on the website yet, but it will be soon. But we also, this is another thing we did to help the league and give back, is that our veterans and first responders, they don't pay a membership fee. They've already paid their membership fee. The public, they pay a small fee to be a member. And the reason we did that is because that allows us to keep these events going on. It allows us to operate. It allows us to be able to provide things for the anglers. Operating costs, certifications. You got to be a licensed weighmaster in the state of Louisiana. You have to have MTET certified scales. You have, there's a lot of things to do it legally. The insurance and that stuff. We're not in it to make money. We're in it to give back.
Absolutely, man. And I want to tell Gary Bourne that that's your business partner for the redfish side, right?
He's all of it. He's my right hand man. Gary's been through me with the beginning. Him and his wife have been outstanding. They're the ones making all of our forms and media releases, and they're invaluable people. I'm a lucky man to know them.
Well, Gary, I just want to make you contact me. I'd like to help you get that redfish division up and going. I don't think there's enough redfish tournaments. There's a lot of just contact me. I'll talk to you.
Yeah, he's very, and that's another thing. Gary's also a veteran and first responder. So and that's a lot of what we're doing with our business model, is that we're using veteran owned and operated companies to do this. Our apparel guy makes our shirts. He's a veteran owned business. Everything from shirts, tumblers, all that, he makes our stuff and gives it to us. So everything you do with Thin Line Fishing League is supporting a veteran owned business. When you're fishing with us, we're veteran and first responder owned. When you're buying our stuff, it's supporting a veteran owned business. And we're always donating to our nonprofit, Leaving the Sideline.
Okay.
So you're always supporting our nation's heroes, and I can't find a better way to spend money.
Yeah, that I would agree with you there. We have another comment, then we're going to move on. I'm going to put it up on the screen because it's a rather long one. But trauma is trauma. There ain't a comparison. All of us who have served in something bigger than ourselves have gone through some sort of things. And you can't leave out people that have had their own experience, their own personal situations that have caused a lasting mark. We have all had our own experience in life, and this league is one that opens up at the very least, a channel for community support and a damn good group to lean on. I would agree with you, man. Thank you.
Thank you, David. That's awesome words, man. That's what we're about. That's how we're gonna bridge the gap and hopefully save some lives, ease some pain on some people. Because a lot of those stresses are stresses that cause that. Look at the food prices. Carton of eggs, loaf of bread. You got families out here that are 100% disabled veterans, like myself, who struggle.
Rent goes up every single year, and the price of food is going nuts. Jeff Norton just said your web developer is a service disabled veteran-owned business.
That's correct. Relay Web Design. He's a guy who got us. Jeff is a godsend. Jeff built our. He was willing to work with us and join our mission and help us out with our website and social media and stuff like that. And he's big involved with Leaving the Sideline as well. He's brought everything together for us. He's really been the key element to make Thin Line Fishing League go places. Can't do it without Jeff. Thanks, Jeff.
Well, thank you, Jeff. Appreciate you. What I like to talk about now is fishing for what I call giant bass. on Toledo Bend because anything over 7 pounds is a giant bass to me. I'm not from this area. I'm from the northern Illinois, southern Wisconsin. So a 7 pound bass up there is absolutely, it
Unheard of.
just doesn't happen. 13-pound bass where you live, man. You just can't compare the two because when you want to look at a trophy bass, you have to look at the fishery that it came from. You can't just put a carte blanche across all bass. And a lot of people say, well, double digits. Well, that's a whole big podcast in itself. But I want to talk about how you target big bass.
I really try to, especially, the weather dictates a lot. Uh, just understanding the feeding
Sure.
patterns of the bait fish. We know that bass are gonna follow the bait fish. I mean, um, right now, you can find them just about anywhere you want, but the backs of creeks and going shallows, how I'm catching them right now. I dropped a I dropped a monster last Sunday. I'm still sick about it. Topwater frog on the
I
edge
bet
of,
you are.
in the
Topwater
grass.
frog.
Yep.
Oh man, I gotta ask you questions about this. I have so many questions. So a topwater frog, how does a 10-pound plus bass? Does he just come up and open his mouth and do the toilet bowl, or does he smash it?
I can tell you this fish right here was in that class range. Let's just say that. And had my brother-in-law on the boat with me. He was in the back, and he's kind of deaf in one ear because he had a ear infection when he was younger, so he don't hear real well. Uh, I was up on there, and I was like, "Oh, look, little clump of grass coming right off the bank, and it had a hole in it." So I threw past that
Oh,
hole, pulled it out once, nothing. Threw in there again, pull it out, nothing. Throw it in there again, move it a couple times, and this bass just jumped up out of the water, came all the way out of the water, just totally engulfed that frog. Went back down. I went, and I gave it the time.
so you
Like
saw
you get.
mouth
Oh
big.
yeah, I mean, just
Yeah,
huge. And
yeah.
I gave it the time to when I set the hook. You got to give a frog a little bit of time. I gave it the time. I set the
Oh
hook,
yeah.
and every bit of line that I had, probably 50 yards of line that I had out, come flying back at me with no
Oh
frog or
no.
no fish on it. I was like, at least you
Oh,
could have slingshotted yourself in my boat, man. That's jacked up. How you gonna do that to me? So, I
but you
mean,
saw
yeah,
mouth that big.
that was huge. I'm still
God,
sick about it. I'll be sick about it for about a year,
no, the rest of your
because
life.
that's a fish of a lifetime. But that's the thing.
The
When you're
rest of
on
your
Toledo
life.
Bend, any cast that you throw out there could be that fish of a lifetime for anybody
No,
at
that's
any place
yes.
on this lake.
That's why when I go to a big bass factory, it's like so exciting for me because I don't get to fish those places very often. And oh my goodness, man. I
Yeah,
just
I
can't.
mean,
I can't
right
wait.
now, right now for the fall time, you can't beat you can't you what we've been finding is that this time of the year, all those bait fish are up in the back of those creeks. And
Sure.
I'm fishing a cove that has very deep water. I mean, that cove's got 25 foot of water in it. It's a very small cove, and it's got steep banks. And the water right now in Toledo Bend is very low. Um, so, and that's when I like to also go around and I like to look at those places along the bank where that water has that undercut. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, this way. The bank will come down. The water level's right here, but you can see that undercut underneath the bank and then the trees and the cypress knees. And that's where I'm going to go back and hit during the spring spawn. But getting back to the spawn thing, I believe fish spawn more than twice a year. That's my opinion. You got to have a right moon phase and right water temperature. I believe this
Yep.
was a big female full of eggs because the belly was fat, and I think that they probably starting to come up shallow and spawn in the fall. I think they spawn in the spring and the fall.
That could happen down here. It's not going to happen up north.
No,
But
because they don't have. It's cold more of the time than it is up there. You don't have the water temperatures. The
and any
warmer
any
water
fish that,
temperatures here
and just think
really
about it.
make the difference. Huh?
Any fish that was spawned up north, any fish that spawned in the fall, they can't grow when the water temperature is 32 degrees. They're just surviving.
But I think we have a long enough time before it gets too
Oh,
cold that those
we do
fish can
here.
actually grow a little bit and survive.
They
Um,
do here. I've talked to guys who have found them bass in the middle of the summer with eggs in them.
yeah, absolutely. Just waiting for that water temperature to cool off enough for them to go get on a bed. I mean, I think that water temperature really dictates the fish. The water temperature in the moon phase dictate the spawn. And if you have those right conditions twice a year, I think they'll spawn twice a year. Um, so, like me right now, I'm fishing dirt shallow and I'm catching big fish. Weightless fluke, uh, tiny torpedo, those little prop
Weightless
baits.
fluke.
Um,
Ooh, there's a classic.
right, that tiny
Yeah.
torpedo's doing some damage right now. You got the little prop bait on there, and you throw those. You find the pods of shad. You throw that little tiny torpedo over the top of them, and just zip, 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 and hold on. That or it's not cold enough for the jerk bait yet. I threw a jerk bait at them and couldn't get them to hit it, thinking I could set it right in the middle of a school of shad and they would hit the jerk bait. No, that didn't happen. So that's not a thing. I mean, you just got to see what works and go out there and put time in on the water. Uh,
Absolutely.
But I mean, I think, it is harder to catch big fish in a larger reservoir. Fish got more places to hide. So doing your research is hot. When you come to Toledo Bend, go on the pages and look for what coves the big bass were caught in. Where the majority, it's all online. You can research it. It's open source information. You can find out where the majority of the big bass have been caught on this lake and the dates. You look, it's
You know,
the big fish come February, March, the majority of them, and they usually come from 6 Mile housing area of the lake. Um, Now I can tell you
let me
that you
ask
can
you,
go out there and you can bomb and not catch any. It's just it's fishing.
let me ask you this. When I was fishing a lot in this pre-spawn, I would go out in the reservoirs I fished, and I would find where the creek channels feed the bays. And in that creek channel, I would cast a 10-inch ribbon tail worm, Carolina rigged, and just barely move that thing. So it would just sit
Mm-hmm.
down there, and that's how I caught most of my 5 pound plus fish. And I might get two or three bites on a good day. On a bad day, it wouldn't even be touched. Do
Right.
you
I
ever do
mean,
that on Toledo Bend?
oh, absolutely. I mean, one of the things, one of the areas I target at any given time is when we have rain. I find where those, especially with the water low like this, I find where that water's running into the creek channel. I find out where it's dropping into the lake at, and that's where I target because that water flowing in, it's carrying grubs, worms, bugs, da 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 da. Bait fish are up there eating the plankton, and bass are up there eating the bait fish. So it's like that's some of the best fishing that you can do is like what you're talking about is getting in where those creek channels come into the bays or getting where the runoff is coming into the lake. uh Creek channels right now, you get in those creek channels are full of shad. um just all of, I mean, I've seen more shad in the last week than I've seen in my entire life. in this one pocket I'm in. I mean, it's stupid. You throw out there and 50 shad go pew, pew, pew.
DT Silvers just said it catches fish, but ugh, murder to fish that slow for me at times. Yeah, a lot of people don't like to finesse fish. You know, that's just how I grew up catching bass. You
But
know,
that's
just
the
really,
cold water
really,
technique.
really, yeah. Well, you know, that's where I'm from, cold water, man. And, you know, we fish for smallmouth bass. Sometimes it's painfully slow, man. Just a jerk bait, get it down to depth and just,
Leave it sit.
yeah, it drives me. In fact, one of the best writers I ever known, guy who wrote for the In Fisherman by the name of Matt Straw, he told me that he'd reel it down to depth in Green Bay and just let that jerk bait sit there. And he'd sit over there and he'd light a cigarette. And of course, you know, I don't smoke, but you know, he said I'd light a cigarette, and you know, then after I get done with my cigarette, jerk, 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 and just watch the
Right.
line. If it starts going off one way or another, I know I've got a bite. And you know, I agree with DT with that, man. That's too slow. But you know, running a running up a Carolina rig like that, just and you know, and then you feel that little chomp. Oh, come on, come on, come on.
Right.
Take it. Oh, it's just it's almost hard stopping for me, you know. It's I am that excited about it because you know if it just comes up and thump,
I think you're freezing up a little bit, Jay.
yep, it's getting okay. I think we might be back.
Internet connection's not good, huh? Or it's mine. No, mine's good.
Are you there?
Yeah, I'm good. Too many people must be jumping online right about now, taking up the bandwidth.
Yeah.
But it is a slow way of fishing. But I mean, when the water's cold like that, the bass are not going to expend that energy to go after to waste to go
Okay.
after a big meal. So I mean, you know, they're gonna if it's right there, it needs to be slow.
Yep. Gary Bourne just brought up a good point. Oh, come on, get that out of here. I want to read his point. Come on, show that. Okay, yeah, Gary Bourne just said it's like watching. It's like watching a redfish take your cork sideways in shallow water. Gary, that's an excellent point. That is one of the most exciting things in fishing. It just, you know, when it's shallow water, man, that cork just goes. And sometimes you can see it like this
Right.
and that. You know, then you're reeling as fast as you can to get all that. Jim Grant's a member of the International Freshwater Fishing Hall of Famer, and he makes some of the best rods. I'm just going to end the sentence there. Grant Rods, guys, grantrods.com. Check them out. They're the best rods there is. Fabulous job supporting the veterans. Our wrappers for Grant Rods are 50% veterans. We honored to employ them. Keep up the great work.
Awesome. That's awesome news. You know, veterans have a work ethic that is second to none. Uh, they're go getters. That's what they signed up to do. And I believe when you hire a veteran, you get a valuable asset to any company. You know, they're the lifeblood of this organization. I can tell you that. And you know, so you know, we've been out of pocket with most of everything. You know, we got some sponsors coming on to help out with our mission and stuff like that. And we're always looking for more sponsorships. Um, we want to use we really want to use all the avenues that we can to get as many veterans and first responders and their families the help they need. Um, our people still have an important mission here. Our veterans and first responders, just say with the state the world's in, if something ever did happen on U.S. soil, who's going to be the ones to stand up? You know, form a line behind us because we got you, America. We have you. We took an oath
Absolutely.
and we'll live that oath till the day we die. And we stand ready to defend this country at home
Absolutely.
just as much as we're ready to defend this country on a battlefield 12,000 miles away from home. We have America. Our veterans aren't going nowhere, and there's more of us who are trained fighters that have America's back. So, and that's the mission with Thin Line, is that, we're going to stay ready and we're going to stay focused. We're going to help heal our heroes, and we'll continue to be the givers of this nation, to the freedom that we all live under, because people squandered their whole lives and fortunes for that freedom. Um, we just want to make sure that the
Yes.
people who squander that are taken care of. Because it's AJ, it's just like myself. Okay, I'm 100% disabled veteran. I live on, $4,300 a month. That's what the VA gives me. But I got a family of 5. I got a wife, 3 kids. You take a mortgage out of that. You take,
Yeah.
a high electricity bill out of that. You take your car insurance, cell phone bill, internet. You take all your bills from that money, and you're left with zero. It's hard,
Yes.
and those financial struggles can lead to being one of the statistics. You know, we want to be here to help that. We want to be a resource that, look, check this out. My personal sponsor, Veterans United Home Loans, they have a program, and I went through this program, and I tell you how it saved my life. I didn't have good credit, had crappy credit, had an ex-wife, took me for everything.
Yep. Right there with you, brother.
But I didn't have the credit, and I was shopping for homes. It's like got turned down, or it was either predatory. Oh, we'll
Yeah.
charge you 19% interest on a single wide 3-bedroom, 2-bath mobile home that only costs $30,000, but you're going to pay $150,000, $250,000 for it by the time you're done paying it off. And then I was like, I came
And you
across
have private mortgage insurance that costs you $300 a month. Yeah.
right. So I came across Veterans United Home Loans, and I was like, well, what the hell? It don't hurt, And it's like, we can't give you a home loan right now, but I tell you what we can do. We can put you in the Lighthouse program. The Lighthouse program will help you repair your credit. We have counselors on duty, and then when your credit's right, we're the lender. We'll loan you the money. 100% true to the word. 6 months later, I was buying a home. No money down, none of that. I mean, they take care of their people. That's my situation. That's not everybody's situation. Of course, let me say that up front. Um, my situation, I'm 100% disabled veteran. I didn't have any debt to income ratio to go with, all those things that affect it. But their credit counselors there at Veterans United, that's what they're trained to do. That's what they help in. So that home ownership gave me a sense of security that I've never felt in my life before. This is my home. I own it. It's not a landlord kicked me out because
Yeah.
because it's 4th of July and I'm upset because the fireworks are going off, or no, I'm not saying fireworks set me off, but other veterans, they do. I'm used to them.
Mhm.
But you know, uh, the stigma that we face. I went to go get a job one time. The guy said, "Are you one of those veterans with PTSD? Because if it is, I don't want you around." Well, I'll leave then, because that's me. I deal with it just like the majority of our other veterans and first responders and police. Our heroes, that we all deal with it. So
I was told the same
there's a
thing,
lot of
man. I was told
that's a
the
lot of
exact
challenges.
thing.
That's a
I was
lot of
told the exact
challenges.
same thing.
I'm sorry. That's a lot of challenges to face for somebody who has given up everything that they have. And that's why we're doing what we're doing, man. And we're gonna make sure everybody has something. Bass, crappie, redfish, gonna do it all. The crappie tournaments aren't gonna be a league. They're just gonna be some tournaments that I put together. Get some older guys out there because older guys really don't like to tournament fish, but you know we want to be able to have something for everybody on every level. And so if there's suggestions out there, Thin Line wants to hear about them, guys. Hook up on our Facebook, because ultimately this is going to be voted. Everything we do is going to be voted on by the anglers. We're here for you guys. You guys are what makes us what we are. So, and we're thankful for that because every time we get to help somebody that's in need, uh, is a blessing for us.
Well, I'd like to thank you very much. It's 40 after the hour now. Do you have any shout outs you'd like to do?
Yeah, of course. We want to thank all of our members. We want to thank our sponsors that we have. We have a new one, and I don't have it in front of me, but it's an offshore. Gary knows who it is. Uh, I can't pronounce it anyway. We have an offshore company that just signed on. We have Troy's Butcher Shop. We have many other sponsors coming on. Veterans United Home Loans. We're working with them. Leaving the sideline. Um, for those guys to give everything that they do, and they're a 501c3 nonprofit. So everything they do is straight from their heart. They don't make any money doing it. Those guys are truly on another level when it comes to what they care about and our service members and our nation's heroes. I'm proud to be partnered with them, number one. And let's go fishing.
Oh, Gary just said Edison Swiss offshore.
Yep, Edison Swesh Offshore. That's right.
And
Uh,
that's how you said. I actually have worked on one of their ships before.
that's
It's
right.
not,
Yep,
not
they're
Swiss,
helping
it's
us on our
Swiss.
mission. That's our newest sponsor. They signed up as a silver sponsor, so we're so thankful for their sponsorship that allows us to be able to do what we do. And we're taking on more sponsorships. This is going to be our first year, um, and as we progress through the years, we'll get bigger, we'll grow more, we'll have more things to offer. Um, we plan on doing events with bands and just a really nice get together cookout tournament, family orientated events that are going to be spread out through the state of Louisiana. So if there's areas
Okay,
that if there what's that?
we have a comment from the audience. It's Brenton Zitka. He's from around the Minneapolis area. He's a really good
Oh,
friend of the show. He watches me a lot. He says, "Love what you're doing for the vets, spreading awareness. Keep up the good work." And he also says, "We need men like you, Elijah." So, so you got a fan there, and also Roy Widgeon from USA Kayak Fishing Magazine said, "Hello, fellas."
how y'all doing? I appreciate that, guys. Those kind words. It's very small what we do. In my opinion, I want it bigger. That's why we're trying to reach out to other states and get divisions of Thin Line going in other states. We're not going to stop till the top. Um, we have some good people backing us, uh, and we have excellent anglers. So if you're watching this and you're in another area, we want to be in your area. We just got to get it set up. You can get on our website. You can find all our contact info, our Facebook page, like it, share it. Uh, all the things we can do to spread the word about our mission. The larger we'll grow, the more we can help out people.
I agree. I agree. Well, stay in touch with me. I'm always willing to help you guys out. I love that's just my service work is veterans. So, I devote a certain amount of my show to that. just because I believe in what you're doing. I stand behind you. I'll help you out any way I can. I'm going to try to get to a couple of your events this year. Hopefully, I
Oh yeah,
can.
we'll put you on the boat.
Yeah, I'd love that. Well, you know that I've been I beg, borrow, and steal to get out on the water, man. It's my favorite thing to do. Roy Widgeon just asked kayak fishing or boats. Um, yeah,
We're doing
both.
both.
Both. And Roy, yeah, contact these guys. These guys, Roy. These guys are legit. I've already had them checked out for you. Roy's more than willing to publicize that kind of stuff in USA Kayak Fishing Magazine.
Yep, we're matter of fact, the one of our first phone calls to set up the kayak league came from the Orange County, Texas Sheriff Lane Moody. He wants to really get into it. He's retiring law enforcement. It's his passion as well. He heard about our mission. Um, so if we get him on board, we will be starting that division, and it'll be based out of Orange County, Texas, Louisiana border, right there, in that general vicinity. Uh, but we're always looking to expand into new areas, and if we get the help we need, you know, we'll just travel ourselves. I mean, we can't do this alone either, and that's the most important part. We can't do this alone. Thin Line Fishing League can't do it alone. We need our anglers. We need them shopping, buying our merchandise. We need them entering our events. We need sponsors to help us make it happen. Um, so everything that you guys give us, the public, we appreciate it. All the likes, the shares on our Facebook, visiting our website, we greatly appreciate that.
Ah,
Um,
one last thing, Elijah. Gary wants to said, tell us about Real Quest.
yeah, man, that's an amazing thing to bring up. I've been working with the developers of this app on your phone. It's called RealQuest. It's pretty much my design. I've put in there, and we're gonna be hosting a lot of our kayak tournaments and stuff like that on the RealQuest app. It is available on Apple and Android, um, and you can get to it at realquest.com. But it's a app for uh, tournament directors and fishermen. And as we go through this app and keep on adding to it and adding to it, we're going to be able to have angler profiles. You're going to be able to track your own winnings. It's going to have everything for your tournament directors, so you can just hand over to your CPA and say, hey, this is the money we made. You'll be able to pay for events online. You'll be able to do your registrations and stuff. Really neat thing I've been working on. Really great group of people who are developing it. Matter of fact, first responder base. He's a the son is the chief of the Pendleton Harbor Volunteer Fire Department. Um, and I hold their benefit tournaments on the Texas side of the lake. I hold all their benefit tournaments, raise money for their volunteer fire departments, because apparently, they need all the help they can get too. Uh, their stuff's not bought and paid for by the state or the government like the regular fire departments are. So they're funded a lot by things like we do here in the public and donations and stuff like that. So yeah, the Real Crest app, it'll be an integral part of our tournaments. Um, and they'll get more, it's a brand new app too. So, we're trying to get everything in line. Like I said, it's not full yet. We're still adding features and adding features, but when the full version comes out, it's going to be stellar. It's stellar now. And it's usable now. We're just adding more things like angler profiles, where you can go in there, you can make your own account, you can see how many tournaments you fished or registered for. You can see, how much money you won. We're going to be able to post the results. We're going to be able to, you'll be able to see everything and have some transparency um, for the anglers and know who you're competing against. It's like an old baseball card, man.
Yeah.
Old P. Rose, rest in peace. 39 home runs. You'd be able to, uh, biggest 5 fish limit for this angler has been 35 pounds. Uh, so just to be able to do that, and it's pretty cool that you can, it helps for sponsorships too, because anglers that want to up their self to the upper echelons of fishing and be able to go in here and say, hey, look, I have a resume right here on RealQuest. Bam. Give it
That's
to them,
cool.
and that's sponsorships. Look at my winning streaks here. Look how many tournaments I've won. This is what I'm doing. This is the trails I fish in here, and they have it all right there at their fingertips. Trying to make it, because I'm not only a tournament director, a fishing league owner, but I'm also a tournament angler as well, and I see it. So I see it from all aspects. So I've been able to get in there and kind of throw the things that everybody wants to see in there, that's huge.
Well, yeah, thank you very much for telling us about that. It's going to be about 50 after the hour. So are there any other shout outs you'd like to make?
Now I think we're good, brother.
Okay. Well,
Hope to
I'd like
see
to thank
everybody
you.
on the water.
I'd like to thank you for coming on my show and telling the folks about this. This is a great opportunity for the guys of Eastern Texas and of course the whole state of Louisiana.
Absolutely. We don't care where you're from. If you want to drive from Oklahoma, drive. Well,
Sure.
still fish it. It doesn't matter. If you want to be a tournament director, get in touch with us. We can get you set up. Run your divisions out of there. If it's kayak fishing, you want to run tournaments for kayak fishing for us, holler at us. That the kayak fishing is really easy to get into and cheap, whereas the
Yeah,
bass tournaments is very hard to, you know,
expensive.
expensive. Yeah, because of the price of scales, man. My set of scales was 3
3,000 bucks.
grand. You know,
3,000
uh,
bucks. And for kayaks, all that you need is a bump board,
a
an
bump
approved
board,
bump board, approved bump board. Yeah,
approved bump board, tournament card, and the RealQuest app. And that's how we're running our kayak division is through the RealQuest app. You can submit your fish in there. I can see them directly, or Gary can see them directly, and or if it's David running one, David be able to log in there and see it, because I can give my tournament directors access to Thin Line Fishing League and set them up on the director account. Uh, so yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be a really good thing for all the anglers, and I hope to see all the anglers out there. Um, I will say this league is set up for you guys. So after we get running, if there's things you want to see, we're going to vote on them, and the majority wins. Um,
sure.
you guys have to say. You guys can pick. You guys can pick lakes you want to fish. You guys can help set rules and precedents that we need. Um, we're human. We don't get it right 100% of the time.
Yeah,
So if there's things we're doing, we always value the advice. We're very humbled to be able to be on your show and get that exposure and get the word out to people that we might not be able to reach otherwise. Um, but like I said, we're gonna kick off this 2025 season with a bang, redfish and bass, and we're gonna add and grow as we go.
well, we will, and I will help you do that, man. I'll help you any way I can. Um, with that, I'd like to thank you, Elijah. I'd like to thank you from the bottom of my heart for coming on my show and talking about this with the folks. And I'd like to thank everybody for tuning into Let's Talk Fishing podcast, a very, very important, in a very, very important um, episode of it. And with that, I'm going to end the podcast. And guys, it's Wednesday night. Make your plans. Get out there on the water. Enjoy your life. Because remember, you only get to do this once. And Elijah, stick around after I'd like to talk to you for a couple minutes after the podcast.
Sure thing.